a first year PhD student. I actually just completed my first year PhD student in material science and engineering from Texas A&M College Station. Before starting my PhD studies, I actually came back in 2016 for my master's. I got my master's in mechanical engineering from the same university, and then I was working for a year. Like after graduating back in 2018, I was working for a year, and I really did not enjoy what I was doing. Hence, I came back for my PhD, and right now I work in like thermal storage and phase change materials. That is what I actually work on right now.
Okay. And so I saw you have done your intern at Tesla, I believe, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah. How was it? Did you enjoy it, or it was boring?
No, I'll be very honest. Like at the very beginning, so I had not worked previously back in India, so I directly came after my bachelor's. So this was my first like real job, and I really enjoyed the first few months. But like I was there for about 8 months, and I don't think 8 months is a fair enough time to assess any company. But after 3 months, I kind of got bored of the repetitive nature of the job that I was given to. But I do not blame them because I was just an intern.
No. I'm not saying that you're blaming them. I'm just trying to understand because, I have been working with the industry for quite a lot, and some of the things that I have, like people who do their masters, they always talk about, I want to go to do a job and this and that, right? So I'm just trying to understand that because, when I finished my master's, the reason I didn't do it was exactly because of that. I didn't go for a job. So, I understand that. And what's your, what work are you doing? What's your area of research?
It's in thermal storage, phase change materials.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
So I actually started working because everybody else around me was getting a job. So I thought this might be a good like I should probably get this experience, and I just tried to get a job. So I actually delayed my PhD by a year. But after that I found out no, this is not who I am. So I came back.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, no. I think if you ask me, and now you realize that more than other that, this is the right decision to take at the right time. So I won't. I see you have done the right thing, in my opinion. So I think the reason I think I want to talk to you because some of the questions you had were very interesting, to be honest with you, and I mean, as a person who is starting his PhD, I think it's very important to know. And one of the things I want to ask you, like, what are your goals? What you want to do? So one of the things you had mentioned is you want to work in a national lab once you graduate. But my question to you is, what do you think you want to do as of now? Do you think you want to go to an industry, or do you think you want to go to work in a national lab, or do you think you want to work in a university as a professor?
Okay, so
as of now, it may change. That's
as of now, I'm pretty sure it will always change every day. So as of now, I honestly think I don't think I can be a professor. Like I've seen people work, and I don't think I have it in me to work like that. So honestly, and also I have worked for a year in industry, which I don't think is I really like that flexibility which I get in PhD life. So as of now, I think the best trade-off would be to get if I can land myself a job in national labs because that is what I hear from people. It's right in the sweet spot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how sweet it is because I can tell you some of the things that I have seen because I was there too. But I would say industry. One of the things I want to tell you is, and the reason I said to you, how was your experience at Tesla? Because Tesla and the work you were doing was very different. Tesla itself, like I remember when I was interviewed at a SpaceX one time, it's a different kind of a work. You are doing mass manufacturing. You are doing quality and inspection. There is no research component involved in that. But I can assure you, once you finish your PhD, and the type of job that you will get hired for, and the type of work you will do, and if you get into a right industry, the R&D job in the industry is very, very enjoyable, actually, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And I have never worked in manufacturing, and I'm not sure if I would enjoy the work in where you have an environment where they produce mass manufacturing. So basically, what you are doing, want to make sure that the product you are building is of the same quality all the time. That's what the job is basically, right? The Q&A
Yeah.
job basically. So I'm not sure if I would enjoy that too, but the R&D part of it is always very fun actually, to be honest.
Okay.
And so, I'm pretty sure there are people in Tesla, and I'm pretty sure there are people in SpaceX, or people in Rolls-Royce or Lockheed, and the work is involved. There is a R&D sector that works with universities, that works with national labs. So if I have to tell you, like most of my work is involved with working with universities and doing research and all that. So I and it's not like it's my choice. I have taken that sort of a role and that sort of a job. Okay, so
Okay.
you have to carve out that within you. And most of the work which I have done in the past also always been like that. I have worked heavily with projects on with people at national labs, with universities and so forth. So, and that was a very fun part of it, because then you are the person who is giving money, you are the person who is guiding the project, who is guiding the direction of the research. So as I said, once you finish your PhD, you will be in totally different regime.
Okay.
The work you talked about that you have done would is typically fit with people who have done their bachelor's and master's, to be honest with you. Okay.
Yeah.
And especially the if you are working with manufacturing, that's what people end up doing anyway. So my advice to you would be is, and considering all the geopolitical scenario, I would say keep your options open also.
Okay.
Okay, so when you say, I don't think I'm the type of a person who's gonna enjoy working in a university. As I said, it will change, and it may change, because to be honest with you, all the professors, and I know some of them, are never thought they're gonna become a professor. They chose it. They started enjoying it, and then what happened is, once they got an opportunity, because everything is opportunity based, right?
That's correct.
So let's say you are out from your university, and then you got offer at Rice University to become a professor. You're not going to say no to that,
Obviously not.
right? So that's what I'm saying. It depends on the opportunity. So, but my answer to you would be, as of now, since you are a first year PhD student, I think your focus should be and always been to do quality work, because
Okay.
what is important for you is what work you gonna pursue. That means good publications. That means those publications should have good citations. That is your key. That these are the things that will help you to move further, whether it's in national lab. And to be honest with you, many people say, oh, industry don't need publications and all that. I don't agree with that at all. Even now, if I apply for a job, I make sure that people know that I have publications, I publish, I am involved in research, because that what kind of a role I'm looking for too. To be honest. So
Yeah.
the person works in an R&D sector in an industry, they want someone who is technically sound, and looking at the publications, looking at things, they know that you have that in. So here is the thing. So if I see your CV right now, it looks to me a typical person who has done his master's, to be honest with you, right?
That is correct.
But after 4 or 5 years down the road, you should know this CV should have more content in it, which is more meaningful. That means it has more meaning in terms of what research you have done, what awards you have received, what type of accolades you have done, what type of skill set you have learned, what type of conferences you have been, and to be honest with you, what types of paper you have reviewed, what types of journals, what types of article you have published in which journals, what is the impact factor, all those sort of things.
Okay.
And for a decent PhD student, in my opinion, once you graduate, if you have a citation around 150, 200, I say this is a good one to start with. But
Okay.
if you have a citation 20, 30, you are on a wrong side.
Okay. Okay.
Because whether you will, so many people, I just had a conversation with a student who is about to graduate in December before you, and I was speaking with her, and I was the one thing I told her that what you need to do now is make sure that your citation is on the top, because what you're gonna so here is the thing, people, and you can see some of my videos of students which I'm speaking and they are about to graduate, what a struggle they're going through. Number one, can I find a job? Number two, how can I find a job? Number three, can I stay in this country? Number four, how can I make sure that my CV comes at the top? So my answer is very simple. You are in the position, and those are the questions you should answer right now to be successful, right? So, for example, if you look at how can you stay in this country? The only way you can stay in this country for a longer term, if you have a visa, or if you later on if you have a green card, and the only way you can do it if you have a good publication, if you have a good your portfolio is really really good, because it becomes challenging more and more now. So that's the only way you can survive. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, and looking at the future also, people who have higher education will have better chances than people who have just masters. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. In longer term, for a longer for your future of your career, you have done the right thing, in my opinion. And other thing, let's go through your questions first. So you have said I have worked in industry for about a year. You didn't enjoy that and come your master resume. So I was hoping I should things that I should or should not include. Okay. So first of all, the format you have is a typical format for a master student. The format need to be changed. The best way to do that is just go to your in your department website and look at the faculty's biodata, how they have written, and that's how your biodata should be written.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to look at. Okay, how they have written. Just look at the topics they have, skill set, industry, rewards, awards, whatever it is there. Whether they have been a PI on some work, so you can mention all those things. So make sure. Take a good example, and you can able to figure that out. That's number one. So as I said, your CV needs a big revamp. This CV is not a right CV for a PhD student. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Other thing, I just finished my first year. What milestone should I be checking off? Yeah. So one of the thing I would tell you is. I would say the first year of a PhD, or maybe second year of a PhD, where you want to finish most of your coursework, you want to finish as much as your research work, because to be honest with you, the early you will write your publications, the more visible they are, the more citation they have once you finish your graduation. So make sure you want to spend as much as time and finish as much as your research if you can, as early as possible. So let's say if your work includes experiments or simulation, right? So try to finish them as early as possible, so you can spend a good amount of time in writing them. And one thing also I would say, this is what I used to do also, is you have, once you start a work, you make sure you have the reasoning behind it, why you're doing it, what is the reason, what is out there in the literature already, what people have done, and what results I would need to publish this paper, what journal I am targeting. This should always be in your mind, and you can talk all this about with your professor in advance, so that you have a framework in your mind. And then if you know why you have done this work, what is the reason, what you have what extra you have done in this work, is if everything is in your mind is very clear, then it's very easy to write it down. There is a difference between a master's student and a PhD student. Master's students is the one where if you are doing a thesis, you don't have to do anything new. You can say, my thesis involves repeating the same work as the X person did. But for a PhD, you have to add something new to it. And that's where the challenge is. So make sure you complete that challenge and do it. As far as working with National Lab is concerned, I think for international students, not all national labs they hire international students. One lab that
That's
they
right.
hire is the Oak Ridge National Lab. They do hire international students. So, it's always a good chance that once you finish your PhD, you can go and work there as a postdoc. If you get lucky, you can get hired as a PI or as R&D staff member.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but
I
there are
know this
always
is
the
a
chances.
very random. I have one quick question,
No, no, no. Go ahead.
and
Go ahead.
I know this is a very random question. So, I keep asking my seniors all as well. Like, what are the few skill sets that I have to have when I graduate, so that I can develop them.
Uh-huh.
Like I still have, I think, at least 3 or 4 years before I graduate. So what are the skill sets that I absolutely must have, which will make me stand out from the crowd?
Okay, if you really want to ask that question, I would say it's not the skill set that you will need, it what you have in your CV once you finish your PhD. So
Okay.
the people who stand out after they finish their PhD are the ones who have more publications. Okay? So, it's very
Okay.
easy to say, what do I need? Because that means you're looking for a quick answer. There is no quick answer, to be honest with you. The only
Okay.
reason you will stand out is if you have, let me put it this way. If you have a paper in Nature, you will stand out. Okay?
Yeah.
If you have, if once you finish your PhD, if you have 400 citations, you will stand out.
Okay.
Okay, there is no skill set.
Yeah.
The question you are asking me is probably is good for a master's student who is saying, can I do some sort of a certification so that I can stand out? It doesn't work that way, to be honest with you.
Okay.
The only reason you will stand out if you are able to receive a award from a material society. Do you understand my point? The only way
Yeah, I
you
get
will
it.
stand out if you receive best thesis award from Texas A&M. These are the things that will stand you out, nothing else.
Okay.
Because this is what is going to make you different and unique than any person actually. And then after that, it all depends on your choices, what choices you make for your career. So let's say you decide to go for industry, your career will become like that. You decide to go for a postdoc, your career will become like that. You decide to go for a industry, in a university to become a professor, your career will become like that. But that what is gonna make you stand out is that.
Okay.
Yeah.